listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
BS3 Network, changing the way you listen to podcasts. You are now tuned to BS3 Network. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel. Tell the truth.
All right, everybody, I hope you can hear me.
I'm on live. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but these things do happen sometimes. I want to talk. I'm going to keep this video brief tonight because of how, late it is across the country. I want to thank you for coming in. Those of you that came back, these things happen, but let's get into it right now. Everybody has heard about the Ralph Yarl situation in Kansas City. Young man, as you can see on the still slides that I have here, young man goes to a house. He went to the wrong address, what he thought was the address to pick up his siblings. As you see right here, and a matter of fact, they're twins. And he went to pick them up. And of course, this happened on an evening in April 13th, 2023 this year. He's 16 years old. Ralph Yarl was on his way to pick up his siblings from a house in Kansas City, Missouri. And this whole thing is a damn shame. When he arrived to go to 115th Terrace, but he accidentally went to a home on 115th Street instead. And he did what any of us would do. I mean, this happens every day in this country where people ring the wrong doorbell, or people are delivery salesmen, Amazon delivery people, or maybe a kid is knocking on your door because they're trying to get you to sponsor them for their sports or school, or you have little girls who sell Girl Scout cookies. You ring a doorbell. You don't expect to be shot by somebody like this young man was. And when this happened, the homeowner who didn't want Ralph on his property responded by shooting him. Now he's making the claim now that he was afraid for his life, that this young man was 6 foot tall and gruesome and what have you. And that's the narrative. What these yahoos is that they will demonize black males as being demonstrative. And what's going on right now is that you've got these stand your own ground laws in Kansas City that messes everything up, when this man should have been arrested and should be charged. Let me just let you all know something. This man isn't charged for murder. He's got felonies for assault, but they did not charge him for murder, which is a legal term, of course. Another thing I noticed in the news, if you've seen this too, and put a 7 in the chat room if you're with me on this one. I noticed on the news they don't want to say his name a lot. They don't even want to show his picture. You know, if a black man was at home and he did this to a black boy or something, a white boy knocking on the door, we would know his face. His face would be plastered all over news 24/7. They would be saying his name 24/7. And you would know every damn thing about him by now. This man right here, let me put his face up on here because I want you to see this individual, this Yahoo. Now they want to make this question about, did he know what he was doing? He's 84 years old. He's 84 years old, so we already know what era he comes from. He comes from an era in this country where you could harm a black man, a black young man, or a black boy. You could harm him and get away with it. This is a Yahoo here. Make no mistake about it. The ideology is that, well, black youngsters are dangerous. They're ruthless. But the thing that's crazy about this whole thing is that Ralph Yarl is not a thug. He has no criminal background. That was the first thing that they jumped out the window, ladies and gentlemen, and tried to throw on him as, oh, does he have a criminal background, right? No, he has no criminal background because this young man is in the band. He's He plays bass. He plays bass clarinet. This young man is a section leader in the marching band in his high school and can often be found with a musical instrument on his person. He most recently earned a Missouri All-Star Band honorable mention for playing the bass clarinet. Matter of fact, his mother says that Yale University has been knocking on their door. He also wants to go to college for engineering. So he's college bound. He went there to simply pick up his siblings. He went to the wrong house. All this man had to do was say, "You've got the wrong address. What is your business here?" And the young man would have said, "Oh, I'm here to pick up my brothers." And he would have realized, oh, this young man's got the wrong address. There's nothing thug looking about Ralph. But you know what it is, folks, in America. We all look alike. We're all demonstrative. We're all monsters to harm you at any given moment in this society. And he tried to take this young man's life. He should be under the charges, in my estimate, of attempted murder. In my estimate, that is a legal term, but that is what I am alleging, or what that is my opinion, that he should be charged with the attempt of murder. I want to thank everybody that's come in tonight, watched the video so far. I started a little late. This whole thing is it's horrible, but it is a reality because we live in America where gun violence is at an all-time high. And people see black males as enemy number one, as target number one. I also want to bring up something that I think is important to African brothers and sisters. And here you have Ralph Yarl struggling for his life, hanging on to his life. That's when he was in the hospital. He's out of the hospital now. The chief of police, she gave a half-heartedly, if you listen to her press conference, it was pure bull. It was bullshit. Pure bull. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the thing that makes it crazier. As I come back up here, is that
Tell the truth.
This individual that you see right below me, when he shot this young man in the head near the eye area, as the mother explained. I'm going to play video from her. This piece of garbage shot him in the arm, and Ralph Yarl was running around the neighborhood trying to get help. You had people in the neighborhood who did not want to assist him. I've got the video from the aunt. She's going to tell you in her own words. Now, from what I understand, his family is African, from the continent. And I want to say to the African brothers and sisters out there in the diaspora, and those that are coming here and those that live here, Black Americans, Black people who have been born here, who have lineage to this soil, we know this country better than you do. We know the players better than you do. We know the methodology better than you do. We know that this is common play with Black Americans, Black people that were born here, should I say, people who have ancestry to those cotton fields in the South. We've tried to tell you, we've tried to warn you. And what you're going to hear from her aunt is how unbelievable she realizes now how racist America is. See, I've been here all my life. We know this is the reality, but we have immigrants that come here, and we have brothers and sisters who come here from all over the globe, and they come here with the idea that they can have a better life. They don't care if you're from Africa, you're from South Africa, you're from Ghana, Nigeria, if you're from Jamaica, Trinidad, Tobago. They don't care if you're from the damn islands. When they do harm to us, they see us all the same. I think this is very, very important that people, let me pull something up. This is very important. He didn't say, oh, he is from Africa or his family is African. Let me give him a break. He's a different type of black person. So when other groups of people who come here that look like black Americans, and you think that you're different, you're better, you got a leg up, they see you just the way they see us. They see your black skin, and that's all they need to go on. And let me find this. I've played this before. I'm going to keep playing this as I've played this many, many, many times before. Listen up.
Thing having to do with black people, the white supremacists are involved. I mean, that otherwise there would be no such thing as white supremacy. You know, if black people were just walking around, I mean, with nothing affecting them, you know, in economics, in education, in entertainment, any of the 9 areas of activity, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war. If black people weren't affected by the system of white supremacy, there would be no point in talking about white supremacy.
Facts.
So the hypothesis is, the conclusion has to be based on logic and evidence. Everything that black people do, every move that they make anywhere on this planet called Earth, is dominated by the system of white supremacy. That's what it's designed to do. Dominate all of the affairs of people classified as non-white.
That's right.
That is right. That is the truth.
Now, I know in Africa, in the continent of Africa, that Africa was colonized by colonialism. But you have to understand, in America, doesn't care if you got an accent, doesn't matter what part of the global diaspora you're from as a black person. They will treat you just the way they've been treating black folks in America for over 400 years. You see, your child, Ralph Yarl, he got, how can I say this? He got put in the same basket with the rest of us. That man didn't give a damn about, oh, he's a special black kid. He's going to college. He plays in the band. He didn't care. He just saw, like he said, I'm scared. I see a 6 foot tall black youngster and I must eliminate him immediately. That's what I must
do, because I'm an evil type of bastard, 84 years old, and all that racism, white supremacy, or I think I'm supreme. I don't want black people in my neighborhood. I don't want you anywhere near me. And if I see you at my door, if you have the nerve to even ring my doorbell, I'm going to blow you away. Because inherently, I see a black youngster, or boy, or man, as the enemy. And I've got to do everything I can to destroy you. To destroy you in any means necessary that I can. I'll shoot you in the head, shoot you in the arm, and when the police come, I won't get arrested. They will release me on my own incompetence. And I won't be charged until people get into the street and start demanding justice. Because other than that, I'm a white man and I can get away with anything I want. And I actually did because they didn't arrest me. Because see, as a white person, I'm protected by this law. And
Here it goes.
Here it goes. In Kansas City, ladies and gentlemen, in Kansas City, the results for Kansas City, Missouri, the law says that a felon prospect must be released if not charged. Search only for, you can search this only for in Kansas City, Missouri. The law says that a felon prospect must be released if not charged. So they knew that he shot this young man. This young man, 16-year-old. He's a kid. He's not a man. He's a kid. They knew that he shot Yard. But because, as I said before, because
he's a white man, because I'm a white man, the law will work in my favor, and they will release me. And guess what? I can stand my own damn ground, and you can't do nothing about it. Let me show you. Let me show you how law works in my favor. Missouri, here it is.
And here it is, folks, in Missouri has a stand your own ground law. This is AI that I just used here. This is AI. This is off the Chad. You can put all sorts of things in there and get all sorts of amazing information. It will blow you away. In Missouri, stand your own ground law that allows a person to use direct force in self-defense. It's amazing. Without first attempting to retreat. The law is known as the Missouri Reverse Statute, Section 563.031. Under this law, a person who is not engaged in an unlawful activity and is attacked in any place where he or she has a right to be, has no duty to retreat, and has the right to use deadly force if he or she reasonably believes that such force is necessary to protect himself or herself against death, serious physical injury, or any feasible felon. However, it's important to note that the use of deadly force is only justifiable under these circumstances if the person feels reasonably believes that such force is necessary to protect themselves from harm. The law also states that a person who uses deadly force in self-defense is immune from criminal prosecution and civil liability. Now, folks, do you get what I'm saying? He is going, this Andrew Lester, he is going to hide under that statute because of one reason.
I've got the right paint job, you see? And in America, the society was built for me, and the laws were created for me. So therefore, yes, I shot that boy. But guess what? I can go to court, stand on the statute, and maybe, just maybe because of my white skin and how the laws work in my favor, I could probably get off because I was scared for my life. That's what I told everybody today when I turned myself in. And guess what? Because I'm white and I can do whatever I want, guess what? They let me post bail at around $200,000. And that's a lot of money, but shit, I got the money. And that's why I'm not in a jail cell tonight. Because I paid the bail. And they didn't even charge me. They're charging me with a felony for assault. But they didn't even give me the murder charge. Ain't that something? For what I did to that black kid who came to my door.
And that's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Do you understand that this man that you see on the screen right now is actually walking around? He's out. He's probably at home right now. And that you notice that the news, they hardly wanted to say his name. Andrew, Lester, Andrew. It's like they couldn't say the name. It's like they were afraid to say the name because they don't want to expose him. And they're probably going to take into account, oh, he's 84 years old. I'm pretty sure when he gets a lawyer, they're going to get a psychological evaluation, and maybe they're going to come up with a conclusion that, oh, he's 84 and he's got Alzheimer's. He didn't know, he's not seeing very well. They're going to come up with all excuses. So this whole thing ain't a surefire, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just tell you, there is no guarantee.
Tell the truth.
There is no guarantee that when this goes to court, that there's no guarantee that he's going to jail automatically. You know why? What about the Jelani Walker case? Look at Jelani Walker. He was shot 49 times, 46 times, 40 something times by the police in Ohio. They claim that he shot at them. But they shot at him when he was running out of the car and left the weapon that he did have, that's been confirmed, in the car. And he ran out of the car away from the cops, which meant he posed no danger to the police. And they still shot him over 40 some times. Today, it was reported there is no justice coming to his family. The police have all gotten off, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? This is the information man show. Guess what? I was listening to the press conference today, and they said that the police that shot Brother Walker, they're not going to release their names because they're concerned for their safety. So they're not going to tell people anything about them. Not a damn thing. But they can tell you everything about Jelani Walker, but they can't tell you about those police because they want to protect them at all costs. Reason why I bring that case up, because this is a situation that many of us have forgotten about, and they just said today, none of those cops are seeing a day in prison. So therefore, there is no guaranteed that this son of a bitch, I said it, son of a bitch, there's no guarantee that this man will still see a day in prison. There's no guarantee that he'll pay the price for what he did to the young man right here. Young man struggling. I just want y'all to understand that. In Kansas City, white people make up 56.4%. Black people make up 25.9% of the population. Asians, 2.4%. Native Hawaiians, 1.2%. Asians, 2.4%. Hispanics or Latinos, Latinx, 11.2%. Okay? I just want to let you know what the basic makeup of the community is here. I thank you all. Definitely share the video. Definitely subscribe if you're getting value from the video tonight. Sorry that I was a little late going live and I had some technical problems, but we're on live now and we're doing what necessary needs to be done. Another thing that always puzzles me again is that Benjamin Crump is back on the case again. I'm going to say it again. And I often wonder, folks, I often wonder.
Isn't there any other civil rights lawyers available? Is Benjamin Crump, ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying this for the cheap seats and the expensive seats. Is there any other lawyers in America, black lawyers, who can take up these causes for our community other than just Crump all the time? I'm just wondering, just a ponder.
Because it's really interesting how he's always in the mix with this stuff. Now, he's a lawyer, so that's what he's supposed to do. But I'm just saying, are there other civil rights lawyers? Are there other talented lawyers out there that we don't know about? I mean, I'm just wondering, ladies and gentlemen. It's just a pondering thought. Once again, this man that you see on the screen again, he was not charged for murder. That's a legal term. He was let go to go back. He was able to go back to his bed and go to sleep and sleep in his own house after doing what he did to Ralph Yarl. And the family's all shook up about this, which they should be. But to the African brothers and sisters, y'all need to listen to what Black Americans have to say about this country when we speak of racism. When we speak of it from experience and know-how. And when y'all come over here or when you have children here, they don't care how much, because I know a lot of people from the African continent, they come over here, they go to school. A lot of them get into, education. His family is very well educated. Most of them, he has an uncle that's why they were able to bring him home, because he has family members that work in the medical field that can watch him. And I understand that they come over, they get that education, and they're doing their damn thing. But this is a reality that you must understand, that Black people that have been here for a long time have always understood, because race always matters. Let's hear from his aunt right now. I thought what she said was interesting, because she said that when he was running for his life and trying to get help in the neighborhood, there were many people that did not want to help him, that knew that something was tragically happening. Let's hear what she had to say.
My nephew was on his way to pick up his brothers from their friend's house a few blocks away from his house. He didn't have his phone, so he wasn't using GPS. He was just going based on the direction my sister gave him. Unfortunately, he pulled into the driveway of the wrong house, walked up to the door, rang the doorbell. A man opened up the door, looked him in the eye, and said, "Don't ever come back here," as he shot him in the head. My nephew fell down, and the man shot him again. He was able to get up and ran to the neighbor, who did not open the door. He ran to 3 houses.
You hear that? She says that he ran to other neighbors asking for help. This is this is the story that they're not telling you on the news. They're telling you everything else, but they're not telling you how this young man was brave enough to get up after having those type of wounds. But there were people that weren't willing to help him, that weren't going to help him or did not help him.
Before one of the neighbors said, put your hands up and lay on the ground.
You hear that? Put your hands up and lay on the ground.
He laid on the ground like he passed out before the neighbor called the police for help. My nephew is 16 years old. You hear these stories about racism in America, and you think,
by the grace of God, that's right.
Wow, that's sad as that. But then you have this little bit of hope.
Damn shame, that's right, Just Alicia.
Like it's so far away. And it will never happen to your family. It will never happen to you. But God, the people in this country are sick.
Now, this is the lesson. As she's speaking and she says, oh, the people in this country are sick. You see, Black Americans have always known the sickness of racism in this country because we've been a victim of it directly and indirectly. You see, our ancestors got it directly. A lot of us have experienced it directly and indirectly, subliminally. It's institutionalized. We understand that. And what you can see is that when people from other cultures come here and make a life over here, sometimes they can be in a bubble where everything seems to be going right in their life. And then this becomes a reality, and it definitely shatters and their whole reality of how they see America. And as you heard her say, that the country is sick. But see, Black Americans, to my African brothers and sisters out there and Caribbean brothers and sisters, we've been saying this for years. We've been on our Billy Bullpit telling you about these issues. You had the young brother in Michigan who was stopped by that cop, and you know what happened to that cop. That cop deleted him. We've been talking about these issues for years and decades, and we try to warn you about it. Now, it's not Ralph Yarl's fault. He simply was going to pick up his siblings. He didn't go there to expect that someone would shoot him. He went to the wrong door. He rung the wrong doorbell. He simply went to the wrong house. And you had one of these individuals waiting for him who said, oh, I was scared. And there's no evidence that Yard broke into his property. They've already confirmed that he didn't break into his property. He did no harm, but they were trying to soil his background. But the parents, his background is not soiled at all. He's a fine, outstanding student, and he's going to be college bound. But now he's going to have these injuries that are going to last for the rest of his life, according to his mom.
It is so hard to believe that this amount of hate lives in people.
Black people in America have known this for years. We have known this for years. We have tried to tell people. We've tried to tell our African brothers and sisters
about these realities. And sometimes it falls on deaf ear. But what she is saying to you right now is the fact that reality has hit for this family, unfortunately, about the racial aspects. This whole thing was racial. Don't let nobody tell you. I know you'll have some raccoons on YouTube that'll say it ain't racial. No, this was all about race. Now you tell me, would a black man in his house get a knock at the door or a doorbell ring from a white kid who goes to the wrong door, and that black man deletes or attempts to delete that white kid? Would that white man be able to go back home and not, would that black man be able to go back home and not be arrested? And would that black man get bail to be able to get out of jail as this man has? And would that black man be let go as they let him go and didn't charge him for the attempt of murder? Which the lawyers for the family are already saying that they've got to look into.
These are just things I want you to think about. Let's continue the rest of what she's saying.
Hate people based on things that are not even under their control. I cannot believe this is the country that we live in.
Black people in America have known this sister for over 400 years. Our ancestors before us. We've known from the 70s, the 60s, and the 50s, and the 40s, and the 30s, and the 1800s, the 2000s, and 1990s, all the way up to right now. Black people born here in America that come from the culture here. We have known everything that you're now coming to an understanding of. And we've been trying to warn you.
I believe this is the country that we live in. This is the country. This is America.
Right. And black people have said that time and time and time again, that this is America. It's a very violent place. We have racial strife here. We have racial biases. We have all types of problem. The hell with what Tim Scott said, what was it, last year when he tried to say that America is not a racist society, but we have all sorts of legitimate indicators that says different. It doesn't mean that we're supposed to stop going out into the world and trying to achieve, because somebody's going to say, oh, you're putting crutches on yourself. No, it doesn't mean, ladies and gentlemen, that we don't go out into the world and try to live our best life and try to educate ourselves and work and take care of our families. Most black people in this country are law-abiding citizens. Most black people in this country work, go to school, go to college, work blue-collar jobs, work white-collar jobs, and we just want to be left alone. And we could just be minding our own business in this country, and somebody can run up on us and try to do us harm. We've seen it. Ahmaud Arbery was taking a jog. You saw what happened to him. Botten John in Dallas was trying to eat ice cream. You saw what happened to him by a cop. The list goes on and on and on. Tatiana Jefferson. Remember Tatiana Jefferson from Dallas? She was at home. Somebody did a welfare call. She was at home playing video games. The police come up to the door. The police come up to the premises of the house. She's wondering who's out there. She's thinking maybe I got prowlers out here. And they do what? They deleted her. Took their weapons out and went boom, boom through the glass. We can be minding our own business. You got in Oklahoma right now where they got a audio tape that was released. Somebody got an audio tape listening to public officials in Oklahoma talking about how they wanted to plot to take out one of the reporters or some reporters. Then they had the nerve to say, and I'm going to get that audio. They had the nerve to say, we sure feel bad that we don't have hanging anymore. We would sure like to come back, bring hanging back so that we can harm black people and do what we did to them in the past on trees. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We got all sort of shit going on in this country that we have always been aware of. But other people who look like us, sometimes don't have the same perspective. And then when that reality bites them, then they come to the understanding that we always knew and that we tried to tell them about and warn them about. It doesn't make it right that her son is no longer here. I'm not justifying that at all. None of this should have happened. I want to thank Ash, who's in the house, Jill's Chocolate Boutiques, that's here. I see Cocoa Butters in the house. Empress Goddess is here. Red Squid, X-Files is here. Antonio's here. Anton is here. Back to the Basics is here. We got Doe Eye TV. Make sure you write each other's names down so that you can subscribe to each other's channels if you like. We got Wayne Hill here, Maurice Smith. We got a lot of great people in the chat room. Let me play another video for you to put some perspective on everything. Let's hear from the mother. Check this out.
Ralph is doing considerably well. Physically, mornings are hard, but his spirits are in a good place. I borrow from his spirits. He is in very good hands.
Can you tell us, Ms. Nagby, the extent of his injuries, where he was shot, and what exactly happened to him that night in terms of his injuries?
Ralph was shot on top of his left eye, that I would say in the left frontal lobe, and then he was shot again in the upper right arm. He was shot. He had the bullet in the up here for about, let's say, up to 12 hours before it was taken out. So that injury is extensive, and the residual effect of that injury is going to stay with him for quite a while. He's home, but I want to remind everybody that Ralph is home because he's surrounded by a team of medical professionals. I'm a nurse for almost 20 years. His aunt is a physical therapy. His uncle is a medical professional. That's why he's home. So let's put that into perspective.
Yes, that's a very good point. What did the doctors tell you about how he was able to survive this injury? I couldn't believe it when we heard on the news that he was home and walking and talking.
So yesterday I talked to his pediatrician, and she said, so the CT said that there is just minimal fragments of the bullet in his brain, and I said yes.
This is crazy. This is just, he has a fragment of a bullet in his head, and this sucker right here was able to walk away from this before they arrested him. They put a warrant out for his arrest. He turned himself in. They gave him bail of I think it's $200,000. He was able to bail out until he has to go to trial at some point in time. I guess they figured that he's not a flight risk because he's 84 years old. That don't mean shit. He could still disappear. Hell, he had $200,000 to get himself out. But this is the whole situation's crazy. I'm really sick of these things happening.
And she's like, how? And I said, I don't know how. And she's like, bless God. And that's all I could say, because if she doesn't understand how, I don't understand how. Because if you get shot at that close of a range, and the CT said that, and the doctor don't understand how, then I don't understand how.
Yeah, none of us understand how.
I could tell you how it was a blessing. God was with him something, because we could be easily talking about Ralph Yarl not being here. This man right here did the deed, has to be held accountable, but we can't get all giddy and happy that, okay, they got him, they arrested him, turned himself in, he but they allowed him to walk out with posting bail. And it does not mean when they go to trial that he could not get off for this. We've seen things happen. Jelani White Walker, all those cops that did what they did to him 40 times, they deleted him with 40 of those bullets. He's not here anymore. And they get off.
We're just all glad, Ms. Nackby, that he's alive. Lee, I'm going to get to you in just a second, but I want to know from his mother.
Jelani Walker right there.
What did your son tell you happened that night?
So his brothers were supposed to go for a sleepover because they didn't have school the next day. And in this day and age, as parents, we're quite leery of sleepovers. So we said, you guys can stay out with your friends, but you have to come home before 10 o'clock. So it was about 9:45. I was like, Ralph, can you please pick up your brothers for me? Being the kid he is, he said, okay. But he's not the kid that travels with his phone, so he didn't take his phone. And he was like, okay, I'm going to pick them up. And he mistake the street for the terrace, so he went, and it was 1100. That was the house address, and he went and rang the doorbell. And he was supposed to stay outside, and his brothers were supposed to run outside, get in the car, and they come home. And that was what was supposed to happen. And while he was standing there, his brothers didn't run outside, but he got a couple of bullets in his body instead of a couple of twins coming up out and giving him a hug. And that's all I can say. I don't think I can speak anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's very difficult. It's very difficult even to hear the details. Lee, you know, the man who has now been arrested, has now been charged. At first there was no arrest in the case. He says that he feared for his life that night. What do you think?
So as you know, Lee is like the right-hand man of Benjamin Crump. So they're both on this case. Man, I just, once again, I always wonder where are all the other black civil rights lawyers. I know they're out there, but anyway, that's the good thing is that the family, just so you know, if you're not already, you probably know this already, folks, but just a reminder, the family is getting a lot of support. From what I understand, their GoFundMe is up to millions of dollars right now. They do have a GoFundMe, and they're going to use that. They're saying that's for medical expenses and just helping the young man get back on his young 16-year-old kid get back on his feet. And so they're getting a lot of support. Today, just so you know, his classmates at the high school that he attends, they had a walkout. They had a protest and a walkout, and they were chanting his name. So that took place today. People are not happy about what transpired. This should have never happened. So they are getting a lot of support, and that's a good thing. But it should have never happened. He's going to have, we don't know how these scars are going to affect him going forward, but let's hear the rest of, this.
When you hear that response.
Well, it sounds awfully familiar. We know that blackness in and of itself, just being black has been seen as a threat often in this country. And so when we hear him say, I fear for my life, and
Tony D, what's up?
He was being confronted with was a 16-year-old ringing his doorbell. It is obviously unjustifiable for him to decide to use deadly force against this so-called threat. But again, blackness is not a threat.
Yeah, the prosecutor in the case said, Lee, that there was.
It's good to see everybody in the chat room that's coming. I know it's kind of late. We got the beautiful Animated Speaks. Thank you for being here. I see we got my man Tony D in the house. We got Grandma used to say. That's a cool name. Good to see you all here. We got OG Patrice in the house. Thank you for being here. Let's continue and let this play itself out. It's almost over. Let's go back.
Component to this case, but he didn't elaborate. Can you elaborate for us on what exactly that means in this particular case?
Well, I'm interested in hearing what Prosecutor Zachary Thompson, who we will speak with later today, is referring to as the racial element. There's some obvious racial elements. This is a white shooter, it's a black boy. The white shooter perceives the black boy as a threat, and we hear that a lot, right? We saw the law enforcement community respond by essentially criminalizing the boy and not criminalizing the shooter, the 80-year-old man who shot an unarmed kid. He went home and slept in his bed that night. That's kind of common in the United States in terms of the racial dynamic in our justice system. But I'm not sure what Prosecutor Thompson was referring to exactly.
The man in this case is 84 years old. Does that mean anything to you? Does that say anything to you? Was age a factor here? Or do you think that this was strictly a case based on race and he says he was afraid?
Yeah. Well, we want to know more about Andrew Lester and his mindset. The fact that he's 84 years old will be a consideration in terms of what he thought leading into the moment. But I'll remind you that the former president and the current president of the United States is about that age as well. It's not an age that's sort of over the hill for everyone. And so he had an opportunity to make intentional decisions, and he decided to shoot a 16-year-old boy.
Tell the truth.
He decided to shoot a 16-year-old boy is correct. Let me go into the chat, see who else we got here. Thank you for coming over. I see everybody in the house. We got Nikki C. Divine is in the house. Says, yes, I can hear it too. You hear, is there a little bit of an echo sound? I'm trying to cut it down. Let me know if you can hear an echo sound right now. I'm trying to cut that out of there. If you hear an echo sound, put a 7 in the chat room. And let me see. It's okay, it's good now. I know what I had to do. I just shut that off. I'm sorry about that happened. Ladies and gentlemen, let me see. Alan Christian says that the Biden administration do not care. And let me see. The beautiful animated speak says, just make you an old yeah, he's an old bastard. I've showed his picture. But one of the things I want you guys to take away tonight, if you haven't already thought about this, if you notice how the news media doesn't really go out of their way to say this individual's name. They don't go out their way to keep showing his pictures as I have tonight. I want people to know what he looks like, right? They don't go out of their way to really say his name a lot. They're now saying, oh, the man who shot him, the man who did this. But they don't really want to say his name or show you his picture that often. And y'all know if this was a black man that did this to a white child, a white teenager, his face would be all over the news throughout the 24-hour cycle of our news in this country. And you would know everything about him down to what underwears he wears. They're going to, I'm telling you, the defense team for this man, this Andrew Lester, the defense team is going to go, they're going to use his age as a way to protect him along with that stand your own ground. They're going to say he's an 84-year-old elderly man. He has nobody there to protect him. And he thought that this young man was about to do him harm. They're going to paint the picture. You're going to see that. Try to get him off any way they can.
Tell the truth.
And it's quite a shame. These are key things to look at. When this incident took place, they brought him in for questioning originally, and they let him go back home. Then people start to protest in the community in Kansas City. They started to make noise. Then you had this dude, this no good, I'm going to say it. This no good. This no good ass.
Police chief.
This no good ass police chief. You heard her statement. She was already talking about how he's got that stand your own ground law in his favor. And of course, the mayor, and I should have had his picture prepared for you, the mayor of this community is a black man. So we'll see if he's going to tap dance, if he's going to buck dance.
Tell the truth.
If he's going to play a Stephen row, or is he going to stand up like a man and make sure that this kid, Ralph Yarl, gets justice. Now, another thing I want to say, because and we're all guilty of these mistakes. We say young man or young lady, but no, they're kids, they're teenagers, right? And what I'm about to play for you was on CNN tonight. I'm just going to play a little bit of it because when it comes, and I did a video about this maybe last year, when it comes to black kids, black girls and black boys, when they encounter law enforcement or encounter anyone outside their community, black children are aged. They see 16-year-old and 15-year-old and 14-year-old black kids and 13-year-old black kids as grown adults. They treat them like they're grown adults. They age them. They treat them. They don't see them as kids. They see them as something else. They see them as a predator. Let me play this for you with the time that we've got left. Let me play this for you, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you all out there for watching. Make sure you share this video. I had some technical problems in the beginning, but I came back on. I was thinking about maybe I should do it tomorrow. You know, it's getting late, but I said, no, I got to do this. This is time sensitive, but I want y'all to check a little bit of this out.
Right, and domestic extremism and the threat it poses to our communities, our families, and our nation. This coming 5 days after a white 84-year-old homeowner shot 16-year-old Ralph Yarl after the teen simply rang his doorbell by mistake. That man told investigators he was, quote, scared to death due to the boy's size, and he turned himself in today. Joining us now for a...
So let's just say this, folks. Let me just say this. We hear this all the time. When it comes to black males, the first thing that they always go to is how big we are, how tall we are. What that is that paints a description in the mind of people that there's something demonstrative about us, that we are a clear and present danger. So you often hear them talk about our size. When it comes to black men, it's always about how tall or big we are. That's the first thing that they lead with. By using the word, he was tall, he was big, they want to get into your mind that in fact, when he says he was endangered by Yarl, to paint him as a gruesome kid so that you will believe and the world will believe that, well, maybe let's give this 84-year-old man a benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was scared and maybe Ralph Yarl was going to do something. But we know that's all. We know that's. We know what it is. We know what it's all about.
Big conversation on this. Laura returns. CNN correspondent Omar Jimenez.
Just listen to a little bit of this.
Cumberbatch from the Center for Police Equity. Welcome to you all. You know, Eric, this idea that the homeowner was scared of his size, it calls to mind cases like Eric Garner, who was 6'3", or George Floyd, who was cited by police for why they needed to restrain him. His size was cited by police. How tall are you allowed to be as a black man in America?
That's a great question. To me, this reflects of Emmett Till and, you know, the adultification of black boys and girls in America. And ultimately, there are systems, there are policies, and there are people that when they see black children, they see them as adults. They want to treat them as adults. They see them as being violent, inherently violent. They see them as lacking innocence. And these are children.
You see, that's what we're saying. That's how our kids are seen. This brother makes very good points. That's why I wanted to play this, because it reinforced the point that I was trying to make.
These are our most precious gifts as parents. I have a 17-year-old son, and I fear for him every day when he leaves the house. Ultimately, I think there's been a lot of evidence and research done around adultification. But folks are scared to call that out. Folks are scared to have the crucial and critical conversations on multiple
What's going on,
levels
T
about
and
race
T?
and our
What's
children.
going on, Brother Youssef?
Extensive studies have been done by our co-founder, Dr. Philip Atiba Goff, penned the Essence of Innocence, where we look at adultification. But this is not new.
What's
in
going on,
America. This
DC
is
Purple Diva?
a rich history of white supremacy, bigotry, and racism that we see today.
Misunderstood. How you doing?
I'm so glad. I mean, my son is just 10 years old. And while I may be 5'3", my son is already well over my height.
Brother Aaron, what's going on?
And you speak to me very personally in the idea of what it's like when you have to figure out how the world is going to see
Thank you,
your
Jill's
child.
Chocolate Boutique.
And for the better part of many years now, we have fixated on the discussion about how police are seeing our children, as if the only quote unquote conversations that Black parents are having with their children is not about books. It's not about learning. It's not about love and the promise of a wonderful future, that it's always confined to police. But I got to tell you, it often is about how the world at large sees it. The fact that he was present at the door, as any Amazon delivery or my Girl Scout daughter selling cookies may have been, something said, I'm so afraid as to shoot and aim to kill in the head.
DOD, how you doing?
I am constantly struggling with how I explain this to my children and how I prepare them. Does it mean that I make them
Thank you, Brother Youssef. Yeah, get the likes up, folks. Share the video, too.
Brave and have the bravado, or do I make them humble and a little bit softer so that they're perceived differently? That's not a decision I ought to have to make.
And, you know, one thing that I immediately think about is, look, as reporters, we're often...
Now, the brother that's in the suit, remember, he's the guy, I think he's Afro-Latino. He's the guy who was the on-the-ground reporter when they had the protest in Minnesota, the protest over what happened to George Floyd. And remember, he was out. He's a CNN reporter on the ground, and the police, I think the state police, whatever the police they had out there that was in all that riot gear, remember they arrested him. They put him in handcuffs. He didn't do nothing. He was out there reporting like all the other reporters. You didn't hear any of the other reporters get arrested at all. He didn't do nothing. He was doing his job. He had his press pass and everything on him, and they put him in handcuffs. See, this is America.
Times in the field, we actually have to go knock on
this guy
the
right
doors
here.
of a lot of these places, and places that sometimes don't have a lot of Black people. So I am stepping up onto this front porch, I'm doing my job, but I know that I stand out, that I could be perceived as a threat. So I can tell you, whenever I ring a doorbell, just to take an extra precaution, I step almost all the way off the porch. I look to my left and right, just in case someone comes to the door in the manner that we saw here, because sometimes, as we saw in this case, there are no words, there is no time for discussion, there is no opportunity, as we have to do sometimes, to make someone feel comfortable through conversation, especially.
What's going on? What's going on, my brother? He says, I remember that I think it was the Minnesota State, it was the Minnesota State Police that were in the riot gear during the George Floyd protests. And he was a reporter for CNN, and he was doing his job like all the other reporters, and they literally put him in handcuffs. And they knew he was it was crazy.
As reporters. And I think when I look at this case, obviously this is one that I followed closely professionally, but you know, it's sometimes you have to take that reporter hat off when I examine kind of the scenario that this teenager was put in.
Omar, we watched you get arrested on television.
I was gonna say.
For doing
Here it goes.
Besides being present at a scene as a reporter, where I think you had a visible media pass, if I'm not mistaken.
Like I said.
But you were singled out.
Well, and that I think is a good example. And I'll take my reporter hat off for a second here to talk.
Remember? There it is. there, ladies and gentlemen.
There goes the evidence of what I'm talking about. He is being put in handcuffs. He was in the streets reporting on what was happening. He didn't get into the Minnesota State Police way. He didn't get in their way. He wasn't yelling at them and screaming at them. He wasn't a protester. He was there to report what was happening. And they did this to him. This is some bullshit right here. I'm gonna just play that back for you. But that's some fucking.
Is a good example, and I'll take my reporter hat off for a second here to talk about that. And
This
to
is
say
bull-
that, you know, when it's happening to you in the moment, you're just trying to get through the moment because you don't know what slight move is going to trigger some reaction, some internalization that these officers or whoever might have had, or community member may have had. And it wasn't until after I get back, one of our colleagues, Josh Campbell, he's a white reporter, he was nearby and he said, you know, I just talked to the cops, told them who I was, they let me go about my business. And in that moment, those are moments that you cannot really put into words because it's been.
Did you just hear what he said? Now remember this. He had other reporters or other people there with press passes that worked with him. And when the cops confronted them or other reporters, they simply said, I'm here with the press to report what's happening. And they let them go. But they put him in handcuffs. You see, this is what we're talking about. This is America and what America has been for black people. And when we have people from other parts of the world, I believe this brother is Latino, Afro-Latino. When black people come here from other parts of the world, other parts of the diaspora, black people that are born here, we know this place better than any of you. We understand the racial dynamics, the racial politics of America. We've known it better than all of you. And that's why when we see it here on YouTube, you get on a panel and you get people that come from other parts of the world that are black, you know, and they want to try to tell you about it. They want to lecture you as a black person born here in America, know the culture better than they do. And they want to tell you, and then they get their wake up call when something happens to them. Then when something happens to them, they want to come knocking on our door, talking about, remember me? Y'all was right. Can I get some support over here? Because
They did me wrong, man, and you was right. But you didn't listen to us when we tried to warn you from the damn beginning. And that's just
how it is sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. People got to learn the hard way, unfortunately.
Laid out for you, in a sense.
So what is the solution? Where do we go from here, Eric?
And
well, you know, I think,
and don't get it wrong. I'm not talking about Ralph Yarl. He's a 16-year-old kid living life as a teenager. He didn't do anything to deserve this. I'm just saying in general, we have to understand the racial dynamics of America, the racial politics of America. You can wear your hair natural as a woman, natural as a man, and have an afro. And this country will have a problem with us wearing our hair natural. Black hair in itself is a political. Our hair is political. When we wake up in the morning and walk out the door,
Tell the truth.
we're political. Our black skin is political. Everything about us in this society is seen as political. Racial politics is what America was built on. Damn it.
America has a rich comfort.
See?
And really, in just both being culturally and across institutions, being comfortable in treating black children
right
as subhuman.
Right.
And really treating and seeing black humans, black people in this space allows for people to lie or rely on the notion of I'm in fear, and that
Facts.
it's just for people to cause harm to this population.
Facts.
We were mentioning the height or the age of adulthood when you look at black boys and girls. As early as 13 years old, that's when American society starts to look at black children as adults. I think there's a reckoning. That's the solution. There's a reckoning that needs to happen in America. And I believe the teams that I'm part of, the teams of other grassroots organizations, really pushing legislation, changing policy, changing how the landscape has been built to fundamentally shift and undo the legacy of white supremacy. That's what we're seeing.
Tell
All right.
the truth.
So you heard the brother there tell it like it is. He cut no bones. Let me just give you a little taste of this report. There's something that I want you all to see here. And now check this out. I want to play this for you.
$1,000.
Boom. That's these are the charges that for attempting to but shooting Ralph Yarl. He is the suspect. Andrew Lester, 84 years old, he's charged with first-degree assault in armed criminal action. Where is Lee, I think Major, the lawyer Lee is saying that he wants them to give him a murder charge. Where's the murder? Where's the attempted murder charge at? He's just getting, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me while we're still live here, please. Let me show you something again. This 16-year-old kid, Ralph Yarl, was fighting for his life in the hospital. He's at home trying to recover. He's going to have damage to his eye, damage to his arm because he hit him in the arm too. He shot him in the head. He was struggling. He was struggling in that hospital, and he's now home under the care of his family that are medical professionals. He did that type of damage to this 16-year-old, and he's getting only first-degree assault. Where is the murder charge? And I know murder is a legal term, but I think he should get if you think he should get a murder charge or attempted murder charge, that's the proper way to say it. Put a 7 in the chat room as we get too close to conclusion.
Tonight, we're bringing you live team coverage, exploring the latest developments and learning more about Ralph. What's next for this case? First, we'll go to KSHB 41 News anchor Kevin Holmes.
Go on, Kevin, tell it.
Dear, so much to unpack here, as we heard from the prosecutor a short while ago. One of the things that really stood out to me is that when 16-year-old Ralph Yarl went to that front door, no words were exchanged. He was shot through a glass door, shot twice, shot in the head, and shot again in the arm. No doubt a lot of parents are holding on to their children, their babies, very tightly tonight. For more on what we learned from that press conference from Clay County prosecutors less than an hour ago, let's bring in KSHB 41 News reporter Sarah Blake. She was there as we learned the news. Sarah, so much to unpack here.
A lot, but the main thing here is that we actually know details about what happened that night. So I have the probable cause statement in my hands. And first off, I wanted to say that we asked why there was no attempted murder charge. And so the prosecutor actually said it doesn't carry as much time as that first-degree assault. First-degree assault carries a sentence of 30 years or life imprisonment. They said.
So wait a minute. Do you believe what they just said? You're telling me that the attempted murder charge would carry less time than the assault charge, first-degree assault. So I guess in their laws in Kansas City, a first-degree assault with a weapon, armed weapon, will get you 30 years, whereas the murder charge would not get, the attempted murder charge would not get you 30 years. Something about that doesn't make sense to me, but that's what they're saying. That's the reason why they went with that charge, because I guess they want to give them the highest degree. It seems a little backwards to me, but I'm thinking attempted murder should get you some, because you're attempting to take someone's life. Well, let's go back to it. I don't know their law out there like that, but
that they want justice for Yarl and his family. And so what we know now confirmed is what we had been hearing, that when Yarl went to the door, he said that he rung the doorbell. Lester was inside his house. He said he had laid down. He heard the doorbell ring. He grabbed his gun. Then he goes down to the door, and he's got a regular door and then a glass storm door. He said that he saw what appeared to be a 6-foot tall black male standing there, and said that this male Yaw was pulling on the door handle and claims that he thought someone was breaking into his house and claims that he was scared for his life. And that's when he opened the door, shot first through that glass door, and then shot Yaw again. Yaw was hit in the head and the arm. Yaw told police from his hospital bed that he never pulled on the handle of that door. He rang the doorbell. He was there to go get his siblings. Again, he mistakenly went to that house, and he said to keep from being shot again, he ran away to try to get help. He did say that Lester told him, "Don't come around here." And so this is what we have just learned in the last hour from the prosecutor's office. And this is more of what he said, what he hopes that for the family.
That my heart goes out to the child and family involved in this case. My goal during this process has been and will remain to be seeking justice for him. I wish him and family strength and healing moving forward.
And as we know, there is now a warrant out for Lester's arrest. We don't know.
Tell the truth.
So we know that was yesterday where there was a warrant out for his arrest. They already had this man in their custody and let him go. And this is I'm going to remind people that are who came into the stream a little late. This is what I put up here earlier. This is in Kansas City in their law. Whenever a prospect, a person in Missouri law, their law says that a felon prospect must be released if not charged within a certain amount of time. So when they first encountered this Lester character, they didn't do anything to charge him with anything. So under their laws, they had to let him go. In Kansas City, Missouri, the law says that a felon prospect must be released if not charged. So when they first encountered him and they saw what he had did to Ralph Yarl, they still let this man go to go home and lay up in his bed. And then when it was not until people made some noise out there on them streets that they said, "Oh, we got to do something now. We got a bad, this is bad publicity for us now." So then all of a sudden they flipped it around, talking about, okay, we're going to charge him with this assault charge. And now we gotta have to go get him or he's going to turn himself in. He turned himself in. I'm sure they read him his rights in the whole 9 yard, booked him the whole 9 yard, and then he made bail. For those of you coming in late, he made bail. I appreciate all of you that are here. DOD, Back to the Basics, all of you that's rocking with me right now. I came on a little late tonight. I had some technical problems in the beginning, but I'm here. I appreciate you all. Let me read something else about stand your own ground. This is related to Missouri law. Self-defense law in the United States typically justifies a person's use of lethal force in public situations where lethal force was necessary to prevent death. On serious bodily harm, intimate, so it would be preventing imminent death or serious bodily harm to themselves or another person. Traditionally, these laws have been clear that taking human life is not necessary and is therefore not justified if the person could have avoided using it. Now, you're telling me that this Lester character could have avoided what he did. First of all, you're in your own home. You lied and said that Yard had tried to grab your door. He rang the doorbell, he said. And when the police got there, ladies and gentlemen, they found no evidence that Ralph Yarl tried to break into the house or put any type of strenuous pressure on the door. So he's already lying already, this Lester character. So therefore, the prosecutors for the family is going to have to show that this man was not endangered if there was no weapon and no physical contact between them. Human life, check this out. If the person could have avoided using lethal violence by retreating or simply stepping away from a confrontation, a person does not have a duty to retreat from a conflict before using force. Their home, however, known as the castle doctrine. And this law protects you in your home, and the stand your own ground protects you if you've got private property. The question is, under the law, he's got to prove where was the danger. You're in your house. He didn't break in. He wasn't on your, he was on the outside of your house, but he wasn't on the inside of your house. So it posed no danger. I just wanted to remind people of that. I did read that on my Chad AI forum as well. But I just wanted to read that again, get some perspective on this. I'm going to get ready to conclude the program tonight. I appreciate you all out there for supporting. This whole thing is a damn shame. So we're going to keep, I'm going to keep my eyes on this case, as I'm sure you will all. Also, as a reminder, I think Jelani Walker did not get any, no justice for him. Those police deleted him with over 40 some bullets, deleted him when he was running out of the car away from them. He had no weapon because he left the weapon that was found in the car. So he was running away from them, but they still managed to delete him with over 40 rounds or more. And the police chief said today in Ohio that he would no way give the names of those police officers because they're trying to protect them so that they can still live in the community and go about their day. So these police deleted this black man. There's just another situation that emboldens them and think that they can do whatever they want to do. Now, if Jelani Walker did something, they could have still got their hands on this man without taking his life. Matter of fact, they had his car, so they would have been able to track him down where he lives at because they had the car, which would have his registration. They got the tags on the car. They had everything that they needed to follow up and get him. They did not have to lay those rounds into his body like that over 40 times on the night that this happened in Ohio to Jelani Walker, who we're now finding out, and I had brought this up in my stream about
Tell the truth,
that he was also in a lot of pain because he lost his girlfriend, I think just a couple weeks prior to this happening to him. So he was dealing with some depression, allegedly, and some deep issues. The family says he definitely was not in his right mind. I think Jelani Walker as well did not have a criminal background. But these things continue happening when it comes to black people in America. Once again, to our Caribbean, our African brothers and sisters in the diaspora of the world, realize that when you move to America, when you come here, please listen to what Black Americans try to tell you. when you get on panels on social media, don't try to debate us on things that we know better than you in our own country that we were born in. Try to hear our perspective on issues around race. Don't try to dismiss it. Because you haven't encountered it yet. Because when you do that, then you're going to be just like the aunt of Ralph Yarl saying how racist America is.
He was able to get up and ran. He passed out before the neighbor called. And you think, wow, how sad is that? But then you have this little bit of hope because you feel like it's so far away and it would never happen to your family.
Right.
It would never happen to you.
Right.
But God, the people in this country are sick.
And racist.
And it's so hard to believe that this amount of hate lives in people. And they hate people based on things that are not even under their control. I cannot believe this is the country that we live in. This is the country.
Tell the truth.
I would say this. I believe it because I've been here all my life at 53 years old. Most of us that were raised here, born here, know the culture. We understand it to be a reality. See, as much as I hate what's happening to black people, no matter where they are in the world, as much as I hate what's happening, I despise it. I understand and recognize why it's happening and what's really going on. And the systems that we're under in this country.
Having to do with black people, the white supremacists are involved. I mean, otherwise there would be no such thing as white supremacy. You know, if black people were just walking around, I mean, with nothing affecting them, you know, in economics, in education, in entertainment, any of the 9 areas of activity, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war. If black people weren't affected by the system of white supremacy, there would be no point in talking about white supremacy. So the hypothesis is, the conclusion has to be based on logic and evidence. Everything that black people do, every move that they make anywhere on this planet called Earth, is dominated by the system of white supremacy. That's what it's designed to do. Dominate all of the affairs of people classified as non-white.
All right, everybody, have a great night. Thank you, everyone in the chat. I see everybody there. I appreciate you. Thank you. Keep doing what you do out there. Tell someone that you love them. Hug your kids. Hug those that you love, your wife, your girlfriends, your aunts, your mother. Tell people that you know that you love them, because we don't know the hour, the day, or the time, because anything we are subject to. I'm not saying this to say don't go out and live your life, do what you have to do, but keep in mind that we are all open to a mistreatment. This could happen. What happened to this young 16-year-old Ralph Yarl? What happened to him could have happened to any of us. Any of us could be driving in our car into a neighborhood looking for a friend. Let's say you're driving to a friend's house. You've been in, you have a friend, they have a new house or something, but you've never been there before, and you make a mistake and think that this is the house or this is the apartment, and you ring a doorbell or knock on the door, and then someone does this. This could have happened to any of us. That's how dangerous this is. So let's take a look and see how this whole thing's going to unfold. I'm really curious to see if this man is going to be charged to the fullest level of the law. Will the family get justice, or will he get off on that stand your own ground law? And will he get off on the fact that I'm a 84-year, he's an 84-year-old man, and he may use that whole thing about he's senile. But the one thing that you have to understand, the one thing that you have
to understand is that I'm home right now, and I paid the $200,000 bail, and I gotta get a lawyer. I'm gonna use the fact that I'm 84 years old, and I'm white in America. And I say so. I'm gonna take advantage of that in my best interest. And I'm going to take advantage of the statute and the law about stand your own ground. Because I was afraid for my life. And he was big, and he was tall. And that's all I got to say in America as a white man. And that's the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the show.
Take care, everybody. Peace.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel. You are Information is power. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you all in the chat. Make sure you share the video. Appreciate you. Everyone that came through, that hung in there with me tonight with some of the technical problems. Jill's Chocolate Boutique, Ash, I see you. Empress Goddess, Alan Christian, the real Aaron Collins. Back to the basics. DOD was in the house tonight. Many folks came in the house tonight. Appreciate you all. It's a shame what happened to this young 16-year-old, gifted, very gifted. Very sad. That's right, brother. Very, very sad, brother. And be safe out there, everybody. Yes, that's right. Be safe. Definitely be safe. Everybody take care. Peace.
Tell the truth.
Information is power. Information is power.
Tell the truth.